Have you ever wondered, are your frantic efforts in the present truly an attempt to take control of your life? Or are they, in reality, nothing more than desperate struggles within a script that was written long ago in a past life? It turns out that this fear belongs to no one person alone. Even a king who held supreme power, who possessed authority over the lives and deaths of countless subjects, once spent a night trembling in solitude before an astrological chart inscribed on animal hide. He realized that even his glittering crown could not save him from being merely a piece on the chessboard of fate. But, in the darkest night of his consciousness, the arrival of a barefoot mendicant monk and the startling wisdom he revealed would change everything. That secret would not only liberate the king, but perhaps it will help you shatter the chains of destiny forever. Welcome back to Silent Dharma Tales, and this is the story of King Aryan and the lesson of transforming karma. In an ancient kingdom, where people were bound by their faith in fate and the constellations, King Aryan sat alone in a dark chamber. In his hands was a horoscope scroll made of animal hide. The night wind drifted through the oil lamps, making their flames tremble, just like the turmoil filling his heart. The king gazed at the crown resting upon a table. He sighed, then whispered, "If karma has already been determined through countless past lives, then what purpose do my efforts in this life serve? Am I truly a king, or merely a pawn of destiny?" The next morning, the king summoned every astrologer and revered sage in the kingdom. Standing upon his throne, with a solemn expression, his voice echoed throughout the great hall. Can human beings truly master their own destiny? Or are all glory, all bitterness, birth, aging, sickness, and death already arranged within the endless wheel of rebirth that none of us can resist? The sages exchanged silent glances. Some calculated upon their fingers. Others shook their heads helplessly. None could offer an answer that satisfied the king. And then, amid the heavy atmosphere, a wandering monk entered the royal hall. He wore no crown. His feet were bare. His body was draped in a simple, earth-colored robe. Yet his steps were as gentle as a passing breeze. His eyes were calm like a still lake, reflecting all things, without clinging to any of them. The monk bowed respectfully to the king, then spoke in a gentle voice. "Your Majesty, astrology can only see the branches of karma, but not the root of the mind. Today, I have not come to decipher the stars, but to help your Majesty look at the one who is looking at the stars." The king frowned. Stepping down from the throne, he asked, "And who are you to speak such extraordinary words?" The monk smiled. "I am merely a traveler who has discovered his true home. No past to regret, no future to fear, only this present moment." The monk glanced toward the royal ministers, then turned back to the king. "Your Majesty fears destiny, fears the uncertainty of the future. But may I ask, who within your Majesty is afraid? Is it the body seated upon the throne, or the countless thoughts dancing within the mind?" The king froze, unable to answer. The monk stepped closer, pointing to the horoscope scroll. "Your Majesty believes there is a fixed self, an I that owns this kingdom, and suffers because of fate. Yet the Buddhist teaching tells us, all things arise through causes and conditions. This body is formed from earth, water, fire, and air. This mind is woven from feelings and thoughts. Their true nature is non-self. Nothing can truly be called me or mine forever." The king challenged him, his voice filled with confusion. "If there is no self, then who suffers when disasters strike the kingdom? Who enjoys happiness when the land prospers in peace?" The monk answered calmly, "Suffering and happiness are merely waves upon the surface of the ocean. When your Majesty mistakes yourself for a separate wave, the wave fears being broken apart. But when your Majesty realizes that you are the ocean itself, then whether waves rise or fall, what is there to fear? What is there to lament?" The monk continued, "When your Majesty becomes angry, who knows that anger is present?" The king replied immediately, "My mind knows it." The monk shook his head. "That angry mind is merely a temporary state that arises and passes away. But there is a silent awareness that observes the anger come and go, without ever being stained by it. That awareness has never been born. It has never died. It has never been corrupted by karma. That is your Buddha nature, your true essence." Destiny and karmic consequences can only affect this changing body and mind. They cannot touch the pure awareness that already exists within you. The king trembled slightly. A spark of understanding seemed to flash within his consciousness. If I let go of this selfish idea of self, then who will rule the kingdom? Who will care for the people? The monk smiled, his eyes filled with compassion. To rule through attachment to power creates karma that binds, but to rule through compassion and wisdom creates wholesome karma. When you no longer cling to being the giver of blessings or the one in control, you will govern like the sun shining upon all beings, naturally, generously, and without seeking anything in return. Past karma may continue to unfold. Its results may still arrive, but an awakened heart receives them with steadiness, without resentment, without avoidance. This is what is called transforming karma. The king lowered his gaze to the horoscope scroll, the very object that had stolen his sleep for so long. Because of his fear of future predictions, slowly, he loosened his grip. The scroll fell onto the palace floor. A gentle wind of compassion swept through the hall, carrying away the written prophecies, out through the window, until they disappeared into the vast night sky. The king exhaled deeply, as though a burden weighing thousands of pounds had finally been lifted from his chest. He looked up at the stars glittering above, smiled, and said, "All my life I searched for a way to escape the destiny written among the stars, only to forget that those stars themselves are merely particles of dust, moving within the boundless, tranquil space of my own mind." The monk had quietly departed. No one knew when. Only the silhouette of the king remained, standing firmly within the sacred hall. The teacher's words still seemed to echo through the silence. Karma may continue to turn. The world may continue to change. But one who has realized non-self, who lives fully in awareness and compassion, will remain at peace, even amidst the fiercest storms of life. It turns out that the highest form of freedom is not escaping fate, but realizing the true nature of non-self within yourself. When you let go of the selfish ego, you are no longer a victim of destiny. Instead, you become the serene, boundless space that contains the entire universe. Thank you for listening to this story. If your heart has found a moment of stillness, please like this video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey together in search of our true nature. And now, may you live a life of peace amid the ever-changing currents of the world.